Chapter 1. It was a typical morning in a town near Adventure Bay. Chase was getting up from bed. He looked outside and realized the sun was barely rising. Chase checked the clock, and the time read 6 a.m. It's still pretty early, he told himself. Chase got out of his bed and walked downstairs. The bottom of the stairs led to a door, which he opened and walked outside. Chase looked around the yard of his house. The yard was no bigger than a small house, and a white wooden fence higher than Chase surrounded the yard and the building. The house itself was white and light blue. Red tulips grew in a circle to his left, and pink tulips grew to his right. Looking at the tulips brought back memories. He pushed those memories aside and walked out the front gate. He closed the door behind him and started jogging. The German Shepherd has been going for a jog every morning for as long as he can remember. It helped him clear his mind and be ready for the day ahead. He didn't know what he was going to do. Sometimes, he volunteered to be a lifeguard at the nearby beach. Other times, he helped out delivering groceries. Other times, he helped the police station and rescue teams. He helped look for lost or wanted people/animals. Everybody in the town knew of him. They knew that he was loyal, athletic, intelligent, and brave with a great attitude and work ethic. No one disliked him in the town except for the criminals he helped put away. The only problem was that no one knew of his past. They knew that he had experienced helping others, but they didn't know where or why. Chase never talked about his background, except to those in his household. Chase jogged across 4 blocks and back to his house, a mile-long route. After the jog, he flicked a switch that turned on the sprinklers that watered the plants. Chase entered the house and prepared his food. He also put out 2 more dog bowls because he knew the other 2 dogs in the house were about to get up soon. Chase grabbed his food bowl and went to the living room. He turned on the TV and changed it to the news channel. He didn't usually watch the news, but he had nothing to do, and it was too early to go anywhere. After multiple attempts, the rescue team was able to rescue the little girl from the side of the cliff. The news reporter, a female with blonde hair pulled back in a ponytail, announced. She was returned with her parents moments ago. The parents couldn't be happier to see their daughter out of harm's way. What are you watching? Someone asked from Chase's right. Chase turned to his right to see a little pup, a German Shepherd, staring at him. He was the same in every aspect to Chase, except that his snout and paws were white. Hey, buddy, Chase said. What are you doing up so early? The little pup looked at Chase, confused. It's 7 in the morning. I usually wake up at this time. Chase looked at the time and realized that the pup was telling the truth. Heh, you're right, Junior. Where is your mom? She's still sleeping. So, what are you watching? Junior asked again. I'm watching the news, Chase replied. Your food is ready. If you want, you can bring it and watch the news with me. Okay, Junior said as he ran off. He came back with his food bowl in his mouth. Together, Chase and Junior watched the news as they waited for Junior's mom to wake up. In other news, the police had successfully identified the killed man that during last night's shootout in front of the bank, the reporter continued. What's a shootout? Junior asked Chase. I will explain it to you when you're older, Chase said. The police did not share his real name, the news reporter said. but they shared that he calls himself the Street King. It can't be, Chase muttered. What's wrong? Junior asked, but Chase did not respond. The Street King is a notorious gang boss, believed responsible for the death of the Adventure Bay hero, Chase from the Paw Patrol 5 years ago, almost to date. He died after being shot 3 times in the chest by a police officer following a failed bank robbery. More information on this news tonight at 6, the news reporter said. 6. What was that about? Junior asked. Chase stuttered. Junior, a voice said from the kitchen. Junior turned to see his mom, a white German shepherd with a black nose and blue eyes. Junior, come here. Junior walked over to her. Go play outside. Okay, Junior said. He was too small to understand what was going on, so he walked away happily. Junior's mom walked over and sat down next to Chase, who was staring at the blank television. Chase, are you okay? I don't know, Angel, Chase confessed. Did you hear the news? Angel nodded. The man who threatened you is gone. What are you going to do? Well, there's only one thing I can think of, Chase said. I have to go back to Adventure Bay. I have to see the Paw Patrol. I have to see my family, my other family. I have to. Are you sure they will accept you? I mean, you were thought to be dead for the past 5 years. Seeing someone come back from the dead can never be a good thing. They might not be able to handle it. I'm sure they will understand why I did it, Chase said. But I also know that it will take some time. And I waited this long, Angel. I can't wait any longer. Angel nodded as she looked at the ground. When will you leave? Chase hadn't thought about that. I guess I can leave tomorrow in the morning. I need some time to take it all in. Do you remember my old police cruiser? Yeah. I'm going to need it, Chase said. There are some things I have to do first. Continue to next part. Chapter 2. Chase woke up early the following morning to prepare for the day ahead. He walked out the door as soon as he heard a truck horn go off. He walked out and saw a truck with a flatbed, which is helpful to move vehicles. Leaning against it was a young man, no older than 30. He had a baseball cap, a white tee, and blue denim overalls on. He greeted Chase with a grin. Thanks for doing this for me, Chase said. How can I repay you? Don't worry about it, the man said. You helped me out so much. I should be the one thanking you. He took off his cap and studied it. So you're leaving town today? Yeah, I think it's time for me to go back, Chase replied. The man looked behind Chase to the white German shepherd at the doorstep. He waved, and she gave him a half-hearted grin. How are they taking it? The man asked. Chase looked back. I don't know, TJ, Chase replied. Angel thinks that my old family will not accept after being gone for so long. Junior doesn't want me to leave yet. 6. TJ looked back at Chase. And what do you think? Honestly, I'm not sure what to expect, Chase confessed. I know that they might be mad at me for leaving, but I hope to be able to fix that. Well, if you ever need anywhere to go, you will always be accepted here, TJ said. Well, I will get your cruiser down from my truck. And the store owner, I forgot his name, he packed you some food for the trip. Wasn't it like 4 hours or something? I think so, yeah, Chase replied. Well, he prepared some sandwiches for you. I think they're peanut butter, but I'm not sure. Anyway, he wishes you the best of luck. All of us do. Tell everyone I say thanks, Chase said. I will, TJ said. He finished taking Chase's cruiser off his truck, said his goodbyes, and left. Chase looked over his cop cruiser. Ever since he last used it, he had grown so he wouldn't have fit in it anymore. Chase had some mechanics to help make it bigger. I have never seen anything like this, the mechanics have said. Whoever built this was a genius. Yes, he is, Chase thought. He got in the vehicle and turned it on. He was going to go on a quick drive around the block when he felt someone watching him. He turned his head towards the little German shepherd staring at Chase with sadness in his eyes. Hey, Junior, what's wrong? Do you have to go? You know I do, Chase replied. Do you want to go on a ride? Yeah, Junior replied with a half smile. He jumped into the passenger seat, buckled his seatbelt, and Chase sped off. Chase enjoyed the feeling of going fast in that cop cruiser, and from howls and cheers coming from Junior, it seemed he liked it as well. He took a few laps around the block with the siren on before stopping in front of his house. He took a deep breath. I missed that feeling, he told himself. Junior jumped off and ran around the cruiser. That was the most awesome thing ever, he shouted as if he was trying to have the neighbors hear him. You used to drive it every day? Chase laughed. Well, not every day, but pretty much. Awesome. I want to do the same thing when I grow up. Chase hopped out of his car. Well, keep on listening to your mother, and you can. 1. He's right, Junior, Angel said. If you are a good pup, you will grow up to be a strong pup. Maybe even stronger than me, Chase said. So, will you pay attention to me? Yes, Mommy, Junior said. I will. Okay, now say goodbye, she said. Chase has to get going. Junior's smile faded because he didn't want Chase to leave. He ran over to Chase and hugged Chase. Please stay for a little while longer. Chase hugged Junior back and kissed his forehead. Buddy, you know I would, but I have to go see my family and friends. But we're your family. I know you are, Chase said. Ever since you were born. But I have to see my other family. They might need me. But I promise I will visit one day. 7. Junior sniffled. Okay, he said. I love you. I love you more, Chase said. They released from the hug, and Chase hugged Angel. Thank you for everything, Angel. Angel kissed him on the cheek. Of course, Chase, she said. We're family, no matter how far away. And I brought you something to remember us by. Angel showed him a photo she had in her paw. In the picture, Chase, Junior, and Angel were at the park. Junior was on top of Chase's head, smiling at the camera. He had one paw covering Chase's left eye. With the other eye, Chase was looking at Junior while smiling. Angel was right next to them, laughing at the situation. 12. Chase stared at the photo. He had forgotten about the time they took that photo. It was Junior's first birthday, and they took him to the park to celebrate. This will never leave my side, Chase promised as he grabbed it. He gave them both one last hug and got into his cop cruiser. Goodbye, Junior, goodbye, Angel, Chase said. Goodbye, they said in unison. We love you. I love you more, Chase repeated. Chase started his engine and drove off. He turned his head enough to see Junior running after him, but the car was too fast from the little pup, so he stopped at the end of the block. It broke Chase's heart to have to leave them like that, but he had no other choice. 2. He looked forward and drove onto the highway. He passed a sign that said, Adventure Bay 235 miles, Jake's Mountain 240 miles, Foggy Bottom 276 miles, Adventure City 545 miles. 3. Chase took a deep breath. Time to go back, Chase said. On the road, he thought about the last time he saw the Paw Patrol. The day of his death. Chapter 3. Flashback. 1. It was an average afternoon in Adventure Bay. Ryder, Chase, Marshall, Everest, and Sky had just returned from finding some lost hikers at Jake's Mountain. The dogs decided to play tag until it was time to go to sleep. Chase was too tired to play with the others, so he put his uniform in his doghouse and rode the elevator up to the top floor. Chase sat down on one of the seats that were out for the dogs. He had his eyes closed and took a deep breath of the fresh air. It had just stopped raining, so the smell of rain and wet grass was still in the air. Chase found the scent calming and peaceful. He was sitting there, clearing his mind, when he heard someone sit down on the chair next to him. He opened his eyes and looked to his right and noticed a certain cockapoo sitting there. When he turned to look at Sky, she turned towards him and smiled. "What are you doing up here?" he asked. "Weren't you playing with the others?" "Am I not allowed to be up here with you?" Sky asked. "I didn't mean like that. It's just that I'm used to being up here alone." Sky smiled. "I know you didn't mean it in a bad way. I was teasing you." "Oh, I knew that," Chase said sarcastically. Sky giggled. "Of course, you did." Chase smiled at her and looked up at the city. A gust of wind blew across the balcony, sending a chill down their spines. Sky shivered and moved over to Chase's seat. "It got chilly," she said as she leaned against his side. Chase didn't expect her to do this. "Yeah, I guess it is," he replied. He hoped she couldn't notice how badly he was blushing. They stayed in that position for a while before Sky started to doze off. "Sky, are you sure you don't want to go to sleep?" "What if I sleep right here?" she asked softly. She snuggled up next to him. "Why would you want to sleep up here?" Chase asked. "I thought you said that it was cold." "Yeah, but I don't feel like moving," Sky admitted. "And you're up here, so why would I?" Sky's head slid onto Chase's front paws. Chase was going to ask what that meant, but Sky was already asleep. Chase decided to allow it, mainly because he didn't want to leave either. Sky was next to him, and he wanted it to last. He yawned and placed his head against her head. They stayed in that position all night long. In the morning, Chase woke up before Sky. He didn't want to wake her, so he got up slowly and placed her head down on the seat slowly. She moved a bit, which scared him, but she stayed asleep. He smiled at the sight of the sleeping cockapoo and walked into the lookout floor. He rode the elevator to the first floor and exited the lookout. He entered his doghouse and put on his uniform. He walked out of his doghouse and turned left. It was time to wake up the other dogs. The first doghouse to his left was Sky, so he skipped it and went to Marshall's. He knocked on the door and called out for Marshall. "Marshall, time to wake up," Chase said. Marshall groaned from the inside. "Already?" he asked. "It's too early." Despite that, he got up and walked out of his doghouse and met Chase outside. "I woke you up later than usual. Want to help me wake everyone up?" "Sure, I'll start with Everest," Marshall said too quickly. Chase smirked at him, which made Marshall blush. I can go this way and you go that way." Chase laughed. "Sure, Marshall. And while you're at it, you can tell her about your feelings." Marshall laughed nervously. "Yeah, maybe." He walked past Sky's doghouse and noticed she wasn't in there. "You already wake up Sky?" "Nah, she's still sleeping on the top floor," Chase replied. how do you know that? Chase blushed. He had to come up with an excuse. He couldn't tell Marshall that he was sleeping up there with her. Because it's my job to know. Marshall said slowly. All right, but you still gotta wake her up. Don't worry, Marshall, I will, Chase replied. He walked the other way and woke up Rubble and Zuma while Marshall woke up Rocky and Everest. All right, Chase told the dogs. Ryder is preparing breakfast, so you guys can go ahead. Where are you going? Rubble asked. I have to go to the top floor to do something, Chase said. He looked at Marshall to make sure he didn't say anything, but Marshall just smiled. The rest of the dogs went to the kitchen while Chase went up to wake up Sky. When he got there, Sky was still sleeping. He walked over to her and gently shook her. Sky, he whispered. Time to get up. Sky looked up at Chase. Hey, Chase, she said. Hey, Sky, how did you sleep? I slept great, actually, she replied. She noticed that he was wearing his uniform. Sky was sure that he didn't have it on when she fell asleep. When did you put on your uniform? You didn't have it on last night. Chase realized why she asked this question. Sky thought that he left her alone in the middle of the night. Oh, I put it on 10 minutes ago. I slept up here, though, right next to you. Oh, okay, Sky said. I thought you left me alone. Sky, I would never leave you ever, and I hope you know that, Chase explained. You know, there is something I have been meaning to tell you, though. 2. Sky sat up straight. Yeah, Chase? Well, ever since I met you that one night, you were always the bravest and prettiest dog I have ever seen. Really? Sky said. Why, yeah, Chase stuttered. Look, what I'm trying to tell you is that He never finished that sentence. He froze, but his nose was twitching like crazy. Chase? Sky asked, worried about why he stopped mid-sentence. What's wrong? You smell that, he asked. Sky sniffed the air and smelled something. Yeah, it smells like smoke, Chase continued. He ran inside and used the telescope. Sky ran after him. Chase looked around and noticed the source of the smell. He called Ryder through his dog pad. Ryder, come in. Hey, Chase, Ryder said. Are you and Sky coming to breakfast? Your food is going to get cold. Breakfast will have to wait, he said. A building downtown is burning. Continue to next part. Chapter 4. Flashback continued. 5 minutes later, the Paw Patrol arrived at the scene. A 2-story building was up in flames. Marshall, I need you to start taking out the flames. Zuma, go to the bay and start bringing buckets of water. Rocky, I need you to use columns and other things to prevent the building from collapsing. Rubble and Everest, keep bystanders away from the building. Sky, I need you to be our eye in the sky. Look through windows and see if you can see anyone. Chase, come with me to take everyone trapped inside out of the building. On it, Ryder, all the dogs said as they all got to work. Chase drove his cruiser to the back and entered through the back door, while Ryder entered from the front. They went room to room, looking for trapped people. They found 3 people in one room, 2 others and a dog in another room, and a woman in a room on the top floor. They took them outside and took care of them. Marshall, how is fire control going? Ryder asked. I'm still on it, Marshall replied. The fire seems to be growing the more I take out. Don't quit. Sky, do you see anyone else? No, Ryder, they seem to all be out, Sky replied. Rocky, how's the building holding? It's stable for now, but I don't it won't last for long, he replied. Espera, wait, a woman said. She ran towards Ryder and Chase frantically. Mi hija, Cynthia, todavía está alla adentro, my daughter, Cynthia, is still up there. Ryder, she's saying her daughter is still in there, Chase translated. You speak Spanish? Sky asked. 1. I learned it a while back, Chase said. Thought it would be useful to talk with Tracker and Carlos. But that doesn't matter right now. He looked back at the woman. Señora, ¿dónde está su hija, ma'am? Where is your daughter? Estaba en el segundo piso con su amiga. Su amiga salió del edificio pero ella no. Por favor salvenla, she was on the second floor with a friend of hers. Her friend got out of the building but she didn't. Please save her. No se preocupe, yo me seguro que salga, don't worry, I will make sure she makes it out. Chase looked back at Ryder. She's on the second floor. Well, then let's go get her, Ryder said. Chase and Ryder entered the building and were about to go upstairs when they heard a woman scream on the first floor. Ryder and Chase looked at each other. You heard that too? Ryder asked. Chase nodded. You get her and I will get the girl. Ryder nodded. Good luck, he said before he disappeared into the hallway. Chase ran up the stairs and started calling out for the girl. Cynthia, he called out. Vengo a sacarte. ¿Dónde estás? I come to get you out of here, where are you? Aca estoy, I'm over here, the little girl yelled. Chase followed her voice and found her hiding in a corner. Vamos con tu mama, let's go with your mom, Chase told her. Cynthia slowly got up and followed Chase towards the stairs. Chase was going to take her down, but Cynthia told him that saw another man inside the building. Chase told her how to get and went to look for the last person. Chase, Cynthia made it out, Ryder said. Where are you? She said that she saw someone else in here, Chase explained. I'm going to get them out. You'll also like 10.2K95. Okay, but be careful, please, Ryder said as he hung up. Chase started to call out, Hello, is anyone else in here? Over here, a man's voice said. Please hurry. Chase ran over to where he heard the person and found the man looking out the window in the back. Sir, we have to leave, Chase said as he got closer. Yes, the man said. But first. He turned around and hit Chase with a burning 2x4. Chase tumbled to the side. He slammed into a fridge and fell to the ground. He got up and shook off the dizziness. Sir, I'm trying to help you. So, you don't remember me, the man said. Then let me remind you. He turned around and Chase remembered the mask, a black monster face with a crown on its head. You remember me now? The Street King, Chase said. I thought you were in prison. Oh, I was. After you caught me in the middle of a robbery, I spent 2 years in prison. While in there, my hatred for you grew more and more. When I escaped, I knew I just had to come to find you. I had to make you pay for what you did to me. You brought it on yourself, Chase said. The Street King shrugged. Maybe, but I can't punish myself. Plus, it's more amusing to blame you. So, what are you going to do? Chase asked. Kill me? Chase's dog tag rang. Chase, hurry up. The building is about to collapse, Ryder said. No, I got a better idea, the Street King said. I could make you suffer, or I could you and everyone you love suffer as well. Don't you dare touch them. Chase yelled. Oh, not what I meant, the king said. I want you to leave town. Never come back for as long as I live. If you ever come back, I will kill everyone you ever loved in front of you and then kill you. Chase had no words. He couldn't leave the Paw Patrol just like that. But what choice did he have? If I were you, I would make my choice quickly. You see, once this building collapses, it will blow up. So the longer you wait, the more likely you will die. Chase, I'm coming in, Ryder said through his collar. No. Chase yelled. I'm coming out in a second. Okay, but please hurry, you got 2 minutes before the building collapses, Ryder said. Well, what will it be? The Street King said. You don't have long to decide. Fine, I will do what you want from me, Chase said. The Street King smiled through his mask. I thought you would. Let's exit before the building collapses. Chase and the Street King exited from the back door. The Street King took Chase through a nearby alley so that can watch the Paw Patrol. I want you to see how they are going to suffer, the Street King said, smiling. A minute later, the building collapsed. Ryder pushed everyone away. When he looked back at the building, it was nothing more than a burning pile of debris. Chase! Ryder yelled. He was going to run to the debris when the debris exploded, throwing Ryder back a couple of feet. Ryder sat there, staring at the ashes and fire. No! Sky and Marshall yelled. Marshall got back into his truck and put out the remaining fire. Once all the fire was gone, Marshall and Sky tried to run into the ashes, but the others stopped them. It's still dangerous, Ryder said. I don't care. Marshall yelled. Chase could still be alive. 2. Sky noticed something that caught her eye. She struggled out of Ryder's grip and ran towards the debris. Before Ryder could stop her, she pulled out 2 things from under a burned door piece. One was Chase's hat, and the other was his collar. Chase looked down at his neck and felt the top of his head. He didn't notice that they had fallen off. 1. Sky stood there, looking at the hat and collar, while the others huddled around her. Seeing the hat and collar, they knew that if Chase was inside the building, there was no way he could have survived. Sky closed her eyes and started to cry. She ran over to Ryder and hugged him, crying in his arms. 1. Marshall started looking through the debris. He can't be dead, he said. My brother can't be dead. I have to find him. I have to. He was interrupted by Everest grabbing him and pulling him in for a hug. She knew that he was hurting. He can't be. Marshall cried. 2. Chase couldn't bear to continue watching, so he looked away. The Street King laughed. Now this is what I wanted. Now leave town, and don't come back for as long as I'm alive. 1. Chase looked at him with anger in his eyes. You will not get away with this. You will get what is coming for you. Chase jumped into his cop cruiser and left, and did not return for a long time. 2. Continue to next part. Add.